everybody. Happy Friday. Hope everybody's doing well. Hey, Annette at the Cow Emporium. Hey, Barb's Country Home. Hi, Busy You Farm Fibers. Hey, Gwen. Hey, About 6 Acres. Good to see all you guys. Oh, happy Friday. It is not too bad outside. I am just cold because we have been in and out of the house, cutting boards and all that stuff. So I'm just cold. So, and I've got the door closed to this room, so it gets kind of cold in here, but until I open it again. But just glad that we've got the laundry room is done. Hey, Lisa Clovey, thanks for being here. Hey, Spartman, thanks for being here, you guys. We got the laundry room done, so we're working our way towards the kitchen. Hey, Troy Sutton, good to see you. Decided to reuse some of the molding, so it'll take a little longer because I'm going to paint it to match the trim we have, which is fine because it's oak in great shape. So I'm sticking with it because I'm not spending the money on molding because that stuff is pricey. It was great. We had some left over from the living room, so we were able to use it, which is awesome. So that'll be good. For those of you who've been around for a while, you knew that I went and had Ace match the stain color of that stuff, and the paint looks great next to the pre-finished. I love it. I love it. So that's good. But yeah, so we're working our way through. Thankfully, we got all the appliances back in. I had the washer and the dryer going already, which is funny because it's only been 3 days, but had to do some stuff. And a little tricky doing a floating floor over a crawl space hatch, but the mister did an amazing job and we nailed it. We glued it and nailed it in that area because there was a lot of little pieces, but he did such a great job. We put handles on the door, on the hatch, which makes life easier now. And it's actually more insulated and we won't get the cool air creeping up. So that'll be nice. Hey, Growing with Hudson, good to see you. I hope you're doing well. I hope you have power, my friend. I know you had a rough time there after that storm Fern came through. Thank you, About 6 Acres. Super stoked about it. Super stoked. So yeah. So once we'll be sanding and painting tomorrow, then get that all in. And then we'll be working our way towards destroying the kitchen, which will bring me lots of joy because it's terrible. But yeah, so we're real excited. Really, really excited. Thanks, Gwen. Thanks. I love the floor. The floor is beautiful. Oh, wonderful, Grown with Hudson. I'm glad to hear that, Q. Oh, I know, Annette. We ran out to get dinner. I mean, we had lunch and dinner out today because we just didn't have a chance. I went to make pizza and I thought the pizza dough was going to be a quick, easy one for dinner. I overlooked the part that it needed to sit for 1 to 2 hours and I didn't look at it till 5:30. So oops. But I am just, yeah, I'm loving the floor. It's like a barn floor. So it looks like worn wood with the grays and the other splotches. And I love it. And it's durable. It's moisture proof and it's really thickly padded, which is really nice. So excited. So that'll be good. So that'll be real exciting. And it'll be nice because the only things left in the house to do will be things that need to be painted versus major renovation. So, oh, Lisa Clovey, thank you. You're so sweet. I love the floor. Hey, Ark Wildman. I saw you on Instagram dipping in the water there, taking polar plunges. Woo. With a smile, no less. Wow. But yeah, I love the floor. I'm pretty stoked about it. So that'll be good. But the worst of it is over for that room. So that's the good thing. And we've learned to stop hitting our head on the chandelier that's over the table. My sister-in-law made me this beautiful stained glass lamp that we've had in our home ever since she made it. Every home we've lived in, we've moved it. And it hurts when you hit your head on it. So where the table was, we had to put a chair underneath the lamp because otherwise somebody was going to cut their head open. I'm going way out of my comfort zone and creating a reporting server using Grok AI. Oh, good luck. I hope it helps. Grok is interesting. Polar plunge, how Canadian. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But we got a little bit of snow today. They were saying 2 to 4. I don't know. Looked like we got about an inch if we were lucky. Not much, but we'll take what we can get because the ground is cracked dry in front of the house. But so Busy You Farm Fiber gave me a great idea for, hey, Heather, Milk and Honey Heritage Farms, good to see you. Gave me a great idea for heating sources. So I'm going to add that up there and I'm going to see if I can do this a little different. Okay. I'm trying to put it so I can see it and read it. Nope. Nope. Bear with me. You're over cold weather, Gwen. I don't blame you. Spartman says I can speak Canadian. Take away, you hoser. Put some back bacon. Oh my gosh. Let's see here if I can get this. Oh, okay. So let's talk heat sources. So let me start by saying I Googled this for baby livestock in general, right? Because that's usually the kind of livestock that you are trying to you're trying to keep warm, right? Because baby animals usually don't have good temperature regulation for a while. And so you're always looking for a heating source to protect young animals, right? And I know cows calve and they calve in the cold. And I know that they tend to be okay without heat, or I don't have cows, so I'm going to speak from what I've seen. So correct me if I'm wrong. But they tend to have their calves, their calves, excuse me, out there and tend to not always need heat. Of course, when there's frostbite issues or cold enough temps where there's frostbite, I know Glenn and Annette at the Cow Emporium put tooks on them, or they cover their ears, because I know covering ears, you don't want frostbitten calf ears or feet are a big thing I've read about. Let me just see. I wonder if I can make this a little bigger. This is really annoying. Huh. Oh, there we go. Hey, Rise and Swine Farm, good to see you. Annette says our road has cracks in it. I haven't noticed them on our walk. So weird. Wow. So obviously there's a bunch of things that you can do. I know that for calves in particular, they have a calf warmer, which looks like this. Hang on. I have to go to my baby stores here. Bear with me while I get rid of that. Y'all know what a calf warmer is, right? There it is. That Royal Heat. They have those, I know. Oh, let's see here. Yeah, so right here, if you can see my cursor, is that calf warmer. I know some people have, some people don't, and it's pretty pricey. I personally would like one for my living room because I would get in it and stay warm. Hey, little Frenchie in Big Texas, good to see you. Gwen says freshborn heating stuff doesn't work while waiting to be born. Had a doe give birth during the night on the 27th during 16-degree weather, went out to the barn all frozen and dead. Yeah, I'm so sorry, Gwen. And yeah, I mean, let's be real. Not everything is going to work. I understand that. I just wanted to look at some of the ways that it could be helpful. I'm going to go to this here. A lot of us talk heating lamps. If you can see right here, so I'm not a fan of heating lamps, but you see this one, the picture to the left of the calf warmer is a Premier One heat lamp. I prefer that style lamp because I like that the bottom is screwed to the lamp, and I also like that the cord is screwed onto the lamp, and it's a very long cord. For us, it's been super helpful for farrowing, but we don't farrow in the winter. We tend to farrow during summer because we found it's a lot easier to have. I agree, Gwen. I don't have heating lamps until they're born. I don't put them on until I see babies. I agree. I would not just have it going. We had to have one going for Waylon when he was sick, and it just gave me heart palpitations. Even though we were using the Premier One, it was far enough from the bedding. It just makes me nervous, because they're just so dangerous. But I really like the Premier One compared to the older style ones that just have that 4-prong metal for chicks, because I feel like we feel we can secure them and we don't have to worry about them. But for us, if you have heat lamps up, you also have to worry because if you have really cold weather, they can bust. As they're heating and they're outside in the sub-zero temperature, they can bust. One of the reasons why we don't farrow in cold weather, quite honestly. The pigs get a heat lamp, but if it's warm enough in the summer, we can turn it off during the day and only put it on at night, and we feel better. Again, none of these are great ideas. I'm just being real. There are things that we do, but to me, there's always a risk, right? Hey, Alfonso, good to see you. Yes, I prefer heating plates as well, and I agree. I prefer heating plates. We do that for the birds that we have. So I agree. Use the heat plate. The only time we had a heat plate that the birds didn't use it is pheasants last year. They did not go under the heat plate. It was the most bizarre thing ever. We had a lamp and a heat plate in there because when we put just the heat plate, excuse me, they would not go under it. It was the most bizarre thing ever. Let's see here. So other options, and I'm just going to go to my thing here. Other options they have are heating mats. No, let me go back. Other heating options are they have ceramic heat emitters. Instead of a light, you have this heated emitter. It's like a ceramic plate. So you less have the bust factor of the bulb. So that's an option. Then they have the heated mats. I like the idea of the heated mats, but I don't like them in bedding because I think bedding and a heat mat, if something happened, again, there's a risk. I wanted to go back up because I saw, because our herd is so big, we rely on straw. Straw is so warm, newborns can really snuggle into it. That's what I like. I love using straw. We use straw for when the pigs farrow as well. And that makes a lot of sense. Like you put that straw out by your windbreaks, Annette, and that is just so great because they can snuggle in. The pigs really snuggle in with straw. And I like it for the piglets as well. And we use that also. We try to use things that help create the warmth so that way the heat lamp can be very high up as just an added bonus for when they're there. We have a heat lamp in our chicken coop and turn it on when it is minus 15 C. Otherwise, we have chickens with frostbite on their combs, which isn't ideal. Exactly. I put a heater in my coop one time, and that was because we were at -40 and Fahrenheit, and when I walked into the coop, they were lethargic, and they never looked lethargic like that. So I remembered putting chicken wire around a heater. The heater was the type that if it fell over, it would stop heating. It was we call it a barn heater or a milk heater or something like that. And we ended up putting on a metal table, and it really helped. And then as soon as it heated up, and mind you, when it heated up, I think it was like right around 0 in the coop, then I took it down. Straw is wonderful, but they run out of it here so easily. Next fall, I'm stocking up on it. Yeah, I find it's very expensive here compared to the East Coast. On the East Coast, you could get it for $3 or $4 a bale. Here, it was a lot more money. I'm really thankful I've got 2 round bales, because even though I don't have, like, technically straw, I have something to put in for bedding for them. There's no straw anywhere around here except little packages for pet rodents at the stores. Oh, geez. One year we had 20 to 25 below 0, had to have a propane heater running in the barn to try to keep both ewes and lambs alive. Actually created a pen for the heater and had a floor over the straw. Oh, nice. Yeah, some years are rougher than others. They really are. Let me see here. Just want to make sure. Some years are really hard. I mean, you get that. I think it was 3 years ago we had that -47 um for a while, and we had several below 0 days, and it was like, are you kidding me? Um this winter it's been pretty mild, so we've not used a fraction of the bedding that we usually use. So that's been good. Let me just see here. I'm going to take that out for a minute. Just going to look at what else it says. So heat lamps and bulbs we talked about, ceramic heat emitters, brooder heating plates, electric heat mats, hot boxes or calf warmers. And then they talk about, and of course we talked about alternative off-grid options. We talked about straw, and obviously dry extra bedding is really beneficial. Here it also says hot water bottles wrapped to prevent direct contact burns for temporary heat. That's interesting. Heather says the coldest we've gotten so far is 32, no snow yet. It's weird. Yeah, that is bizarre. We've probably only had at our house, we've only had about 6, 8 inches the whole winter, and that's nothing. That was 2 storms. Today, they were calling 2 to 4 inches. And like I said, we got about an inch. I don't know if we'll get more, but it was like a 90%, 90 something percent chance. Now we're down to 70 something. Whatever. Oh, thanks, Heather. It was a long, cold day of going in and out of the house working on a project. So I've been milking Mom and getting a quart a day. We'll start keeping the milk in a couple days when it's clear of colostrum. As of now, the cats and dogs are getting some of it every day. I'm glad, Gwen. I know that was hard for you. So for us, yes, straw is the best bet for cold bedding. It sure is. It's got that insulating factor because it's got the holes in it. It's hollow. That creates nice insulation, and I love it. I love it. And if I could get a ton of it, I totally would use it. Totally would. But the other thing that we do is, I've talked about this before, they say pigs don't where they eat or sleep. Mine do. When it's cold out, mine do. My boar likes to mark his spot in the barn with Norman. So we often have wet bedding and poop in there. Or manure, sorry. I call it poop. So we have to clean out barns all the time, and then we throw some lime down to dry it up, and then we add new bedding. So we just keep giving them tons of bedding, and having the 2 round bales has been really great this year. It's just made life fabulous. That is weird. But yeah, they say pigs don't go eat where they eat or sleep. Yeah, mine do. I've talked with them several times. We've had meetings about it, and they still do it in the wintertime. Summertime, not at all. Summertime, they could go without bedding because they hate bedding in the summer. But it's crazy. Oh, thanks, Annette. Hey, Barb, good to see you. I use stall dry in the coop to help wick moisture up. That's really cool. I use lime. I usually use sweet barn lime, and then I let it sit for a while, and then I sweep it up, and then I throw some more down, and then I just put tons of bedding. My goats poop in their feeders and water buckets. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Mine can't. Well, no, mine do in their bowls. The other day I had frozen urine in a bowl and frozen piglet poo from Johnny and Willie. And yes, I've had come to Jesus meetings with them, and they still do it. Everybody laughs. They're like, we call Grant and Norman's house the House of Funk. Like the carpet cut for that building, we literally have written on the back, House of Funk, so we know where it is. Well, the House of Funk is now the sow barn, because that House of Funk has 4 pigs in it, and Miss Fiona loves to use the corner, and she's taught the 2 piglets to do it. I had meetings with our heifers about their bad behavior. They're now locked out in the morning. Oh, that's really cool, Alfonso. Try some of your wood pellets under your straw to help with urine and use it in the cow shed. Oh, neat. Good idea. Yeah, I've heard people do that for brooders too. They use that horse wood pellets or something. That would be cool. Yes, Miss Fiona. I could look at the camera and I know exactly what she's doing. But at least in the sow barn, they use the corner, whereas in the boar barn, they just go where they lay. Grant just marks his spot right where he is, and Norman is right next to him. So he'll be getting out there to do more cleaning up. But anyway, I digress. But warm, dry bedding is super important. Always want warm, dry bedding. Extra bedding is something we give every time we see the temp's going to drop, making sure that it's dry and all that. Boys be stinky. Yes, they are. I've used the stall dry pellets when it's so wet here. It works well, but ends up like sawdust. Yeah. Well, I'm going to try that out there. Definitely going to try that out there. Because there's oftentimes like a bag rips and we have them on the ground and I have to sweep them up. So I will definitely do that. But the other thing is we have areas that have ventilation in our barn, right? Nothing is airtight because you want the draft and the wind off of them, but you also want airflow. So one of the problems we've had in the boar barn, mind you, that was a building that was here that we moved. It was in the back of the house on the highway side. We moved it over there, and with 2 pigs in it, right, Grant and Norman, it gets a little sweaty, if that makes sense. So we have a big window in the back, and what we do is I kind of crack it a little so there's moisture. We added vents to it to make sure it vented better. But one of the things on our project list, I don't know if we'll get to it this year, but we want to build a barn that I can stand in like the sow barn. And we want to build it there and get rid of that barn or move it down in the back for when we rotate them. because it's still a good building. It's just whether it'll hold up being moved again. But definitely finding some airflow. I know a lot of people worry about their chickens. We were in sub-zero temps last week, and I went out and replaced the batteries on my automatic coop door. And I took the batteries off and I went to reprogram it, and I couldn't reprogram it. Then I find out the door closed on its own because something's going on with it. And I've had it for like 3 or 4 years, and I've not even changed the battery. I can't believe it was still working. So, quite honestly, when the sub-zero temps came in, I could have blocked that door off, but I actually just put fabric on the back side of it, like I do for my nesting boxes, and it kept the draft out, and the chickens were able to come in and out as they wanted, so I could keep the door closed. Because sometimes I don't even close the door on my coop unless it's sub-zero, I'll be honest, because some of my chickens like to sleep in the outdoor run, and I let them choose where they want to sleep. It's not a big deal to me, because chickens are hardy buggers, let me tell you. People baby their chickens? No. Chickens are sturdier than I am, let me tell you. So, unless it's sub-zero, I push them all in the coop and I pick them up no matter what. Hey, Ann Philbeck, good to see you. The net says my chickens are a-holes. They are. They are. They like to eat each other. I fed them so much fresh food and they turn their noses up at my offerings. Yeah, no kidding. Trying to do the right thing and they're just buggers. I have ones who like to be out by the pig feeders and eat the scraps. I don't know how they haven't been stomped on by a pig by now, but they're out there eating under the feeders while Grant is tossing the half of a 55-gallon drum up in the air. And then they decide they don't want to go in the coop. And the next morning, they come running out of the bushes to see me. Crazy. I know, Barb. I can't believe yours won't eat pumpkins. I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh at you. I'm not. They're picky, but it's so funny because mine love pig feed. They wait for me every day for the pig feed, and pumpkins, they love them. They love them. It's okay. Yeah, so it's just crazy the stuff that they do. They don't like it raw or cooked. I remember you cooked it for them. Thanks, Lisa Clovey. It's just so crazy, so crazy. Then there's other heating sources. So I know that some people use jackets or blankets for their animals. I know like lambs can wear jackets or blankets or sweaters, whatever you want to call them. I think a lot of them call them blankets. I know horses can wear them, but I also know that it interferes with the piloerection of their the way they keep warm, because they fluff out their fur, at least on horses and like donkeys and stuff. So that I really don't want to go into because I don't know much about it. I don't have any animals that I would jacket or put a blanket on, but I know some people do it, but there's a lot of rules of how to do it right without, like for a horse, I think it's not sweating. They shouldn't be sweating underneath it, kind of thing. I know Gwen could answer that. I know some people have put blankets on their calves. I've seen probably more smaller ones because a rancher is not going to do that for a whole herd. Oh, wow. Annette, yours wouldn't eat a pumpkin either? Wow. Mine will eat most scraps. They don't turn their noses up at anything. Amanda only blankets if it's wet and cold. If just cold, no. Yeah, exactly. It's fun getting a blanket off a horse after they roll, I bet. I actually knitted this, and it was supposed to be a rib knit, and it was when I was learning how to knit, and this was like a huge mistake. I yarned over the wrong way. I zigged when I should have zagged, but I absolutely love the yarn. So I wear it. Yeah, thank God for Barnes is right. That's right. Yep. Yep, knit. It's pretty cool. So yeah, it was supposed to be ribbed. It is not. Oh, there's a big hole there. So either I made a mistake or I caught it on something, which is possible. Got to turn that around. There we go. That's better. Um, but yeah, we don't lock our pigs in barns at night. We don't do that. We put the carpet over the door. The carpets have worked well. I have seen people do what they do with walk-in freezers, like commercial freezers. They put those plastic strips. I don't think there is insulating, but hey, if that's what you got and it works. We really like the carpet because the carpet insulates, but it also is easy enough for them to get in and out. Even the night with the wind event, our carpets were swaying on the doors, but it was a lot less windy in the barn compared to what it would have been. I remember when we built the sow barn, we put a door on it, and I was like, looking back, I don't even know why we bothered. But if we ever made it into a storage area when the pigs are gone, it would work perfect. Or when we had baby pigs, like when Grant was little, I kind of closed him in there for the night to make sure he didn't wander around because he was by himself on quarantine. And I didn't want him going all the way out into the pasture and then getting hit by a predator or taken by a predator or killed. So, plus it kept him warm when it was really, really cold because we had that ramp that flipped up at the time. I don't know if you guys remember that whole debacle. But yeah. So what are some things you guys like to do to keep your animals warm? What are some things that you rely on? Just curious. I mean, obviously, it's not 100%. We do the best we can. Sometimes I think heat is more of a struggle for certain animals at certain times in their lives. Like I know for chickens, I am convinced extreme heat is going to kill chickens more than the cold. That's my opinion and what I've seen. Busy You said I use blankets on my lambs for a day or two if below zero. Usually by day 2, they are hardy enough and can come in the barn if they get cold. That's cool. The Cow Emporium said Glenn and I were talking about past warming techniques. We had some calves in the garage of our new house. It was minus 40 at that time. Wow. And Barb said heat lamp in the coop. And then Heather says just water and hay. We don't really get too cold. Barb says my chickens love the cold weather. I'm telling you, I think they really like cold weather more than 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Like that's really hard on chickens. Thankfully, we don't get that hot, but I know places do. Annette talked about her and Glenn using the garage, having calves in the garage. That is also something we have done. We've had chickens in the garage. We always have our brooders in the garage, but yeah, we've had sick chickens in the garage. We've had, let's see what else. I think just sick chickens in the garage, but garage is always an option. Garage is always an option for us. Like if I needed to move a critter there, I would. Obviously, it's harder for a pig. I need a bigger area, but we do have a cement floor. I could easily set it up. Do we all remember when Norman was little? Norman didn't go in the garage. Norman went in the wood room. It wasn't heated. So when we had negative 47, Norman had about 5 below zero in the Hotel Hilton in the back part of our house, but it made it nice because we didn't have to acclimate him back to the cold or anything. Because once they get warm, it's hard. Excuse me. Chickens thrive in the middle, Annette said. Gwen said, I agree. Gwen says normally just deep hay bedding, a little extra feed and hay. One of the things that always amazes me is the Kuni pigs. They are so resilient, right? A lot of animals are. But the one thing about the Kuni pigs that I could speak about is that my mentor has them down in Burleson, Texas, and they've been 120 something degrees in the summertime when they had that awful heat. And yet they're there below freezing in the teens this year. And here we are, we have, pigs that are here for minus 47. Like, what a huge range that these animals are dealing with. Maybe having a carport or tarps to block wind and ice. Absolutely, Heather. I think that's a great idea. We have a carport. We put the blue Dodge under it. Usually it's for hail protection because that's our heavy duty truck. If need to warm babies, lamb in plastic glove or bag, then in warm water. Don't wash off scent and don't get them wet, but warm them up. That's good to know. Lambs are a whole different ballgame for me. I have learned so much from Busy You about lambs because I did not know a lot about sheep. Ryan knows a lot about sheep. I know nothing except what I have learned. Garage storage scares me because the calves are a little warmer than outside. Okay, that makes sense. So if they're a little warmer than the outside because of the fact that you have to bring them back out, you're worried about the temperature difference. Is that correct? I want to make sure I understand because I don't have cows either. I think when it was warm, it was here, warm like it was here in the 70s, then going to cold 16 degrees is so hard on them. Yes, heat swings are brutal, or I should say temp swings are brutal. Milk and Honey says if we get extreme heat, freeze plastic jugs for the chickens, open the lid, set on its side. That's good. Ms. Yu says also towels and heating pad in a plastic tote can stay with mom to see them and still warm up. Busy You sent me this, basically an IBC tote. Hey, Corner Clubhouse Cobalt, good to see you. I'm sure you guys have seen online where they take the IBC totes in the plastic totes in the crates, in the metal crates, and they turn them into houses with a heat lamp, and then they have the cover off on the top where the heat, the moisture and the heat can escape if needed, so it doesn't get too hot. I've seen them for goat kids. I've seen them for pigs, and what she sent me, I've seen for sheep now, which is pretty good. When we return the calves to outside, the calves need to be on par for temp. Ah, yes. Okay, I wanted to make sure I understood what you said. I know that like that was our concern when we did Norman. We wanted to bring him in and keep him at a warmer place, but not in the house where it was warm. Yes, I did bring him in the house. I know, but he had to go back in, only out for 15 minutes at a time. And yeah, that in and out of different temperatures is like those temp swings and can create issues. I see what you're saying. Going in and out of warm to cold back and forth is hard on babies too. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, there's so many different things you can do. I think that everybody learns their tips and tricks to do. Like I said, I can't speak for sheep and goats and cows. I don't have them, you know. I can only speak to the pigs, and that's one of the reasons why we've gone out of our way to have, we only farrow once a year. And so we try to do it in warmer weather, and we try to plan it where we know they'll be large enough to do okay in the winter. Like right now, we have Johnny and Willie with the sows, and that's working great. Before that, we had Waylon and Hank together, and they kept each other warm. Norman was the problem because Norman loved to stand out in the snow and get wet. Then we would drop to sub-zero and he would shiver, and he lost his brother Oliver. So we were all that stuff. Wanted to give you, before I forget, wanted to give you a quick update on Norman. So Norman finished his antibiotics and he is walking beautifully. He is actually back to himself, and he is he's talking for food again. He makes noise when dinner time comes, which he wasn't doing for a while. And he had 3 cc's of the anti-inflammatory today, and I think he has 2 more days. Then we're done. Then we're going to see how he does over a week, because the last time we gave him medications, the same ones, he still declined after a week of the medication. So fingers crossed, because he's finally back to normal. And we're talking, this is well over a month. So it's been a long road, but just, he's so good at getting injections. He was getting 2 injections a day, and he just stands there. But he's walking good. He's out sitting, waiting for his food, an hour ahead of time. So super excited about that. Just praying it continues, because Norman's my little buddy. He's my little buddy. Honestly, straw could be everyone's go-to for cold. I agree. If you have a barn that is, has animals out of the drafts, and you have tons of straw, and it's, as long as it's dry, that'll be great. Normie, yay. Yes, super excited. Norman's my little baby. I would do the same for any of them, but Norman, that was just so heart-wrenching that Norman was sick. My pet pig. But because at this point, we will not be replacing pigs with any new pigs. We're staying with what we've got. We're probably going to breed Fiona this year, not Eleanor. Give Eleanor a break. So we'll see how that goes. Eleanor has been working hard every year since she could farrow, and we're giving her a break, especially since she had the 2 boys self-wean on her. So that was a long time, and she's in great condition now. We finally had a winter where we could keep weight on her, so that's good. But yeah, Normie's good. And I really like what Annette said about straw, because straw also, if you watch the Cow Emporium, they're in southern Alberta, and they have windbreaks, and they lay the straw out by the windbreaks for their cows, and they go out and find calves out there, and they're just all full of straw. Calving season's coming soon. And I know lambing season's coming soon. Kidding season is here for a lot of folks. You'll see February will hit, and we'll probably put Grant in with Fiona for a while. See how that goes. We're hoping Norman stays well, because then we can move him over and put him in a peaceful situation, so he's not in the love nest. No, you don't get the cold weather like we do, but you also get some pretty crazy temp swings, between hot and cold. I'm sure you guys got cold weather from that front that moved through, right, Barb? Like a week ago, or a few days ago, or something like that. Oh, a week ago. Yeah, because Gwen had it. It was crazy for Texas. It's funny. We were talking today, Ryan and I, and we were talking today about how, like, on the East Coast, with the humidity and the dampness. And I was sitting there, I was like, can you imagine our old age aches and pains if we were still on the East Coast and not here in a dry climate? We'd be crippled. because it really makes a huge difference when you've got that dry climate and low humidity. It's not, woof, it was chilly and a lot of ice. Yeah, that's a lot for you guys. Barb, you'll have to tell us all about the hot weather prep because you know that. That's why you have those amazing peppers that you grow. But but yeah, I'm glad Norman is doing well. I know I'm all over the place, but I'm glad Norman is doing well. I was kind of bummed for a while and I just thought we were going to have to put him down. So I'm really glad that this helped. Oh my, I've been feeling the old age lately here. Yeah, no kidding. Oh my gosh, kneeling on the floor for the floor, and then Ryan's crawling through the crawl space, and you should just, oh, if I did a video, I couldn't even post it because that's all you heard was expletives. That's it. It's supposed to be cold tomorrow night. Well, stay warm, Barb. Stay warm. And I think there's, speaking about what Barb was saying, the temp swings, like, when Annette was saying the temp swings are crazy. I think that's the other thing. Like when you see areas that I don't like the temp swings, where we go from like 68 one day to like 20 or 10 the next day. That is just insane. That's not good on anybody. But I think there's also a lot to be said for folks who are in areas who are used to certain temps and now all of a sudden they're getting really cold or really hot temps that they're not used to. I think that's really hard on the animals too because they're just not used to it. Like Gwen, I mean, she had goats and they're pregnant and all that stuff. And then all of a sudden they're getting temps like 16, which is not usual for them. That's hard on your animals. That's really bad. And a lot of people say like the temp swings bring pneumonia, bring other sicknesses and stuff. And that's just really hard. That's really hard. I hope you warm up soon. I'm wondering what our summer will be like, Heather said. Yeah, no kidding. The weird temps are hard on critters and people. True that. Like this winter has been overall warm for us, right? Warmer than usual, drier than usual. And for me, when we get really cold, and I don't know how to explain it. Usually by now, we're used to winter temps. We've acclimated to it. But I feel like we haven't acclimated to it this year, if that makes sense, because we've been pretty warm. 30s and 40s for us are like summer temps for crying out loud, right? In January and February. And I'm looking at the forecast. Let's see here. So AccuWeather says, I just want to look at the monthly, which is pretty wild for us. So here I'm looking at daytime highs, evenings freeze. That's fine. We have the heat going, right? But daytime highs. So February 1st, the first week of February, 52, 48, 41, 45, 56, 46, 45. That's unheard of for us for February. That's crazy. But when it's just weird. It's just weird. So like today it was cold and we were in and out of the house and it was just like, oh, we are worried about our plants germinating. Oh yeah. I hope they do. Barb says my friend that lives in Utah Mountains said she didn't get much snow this year. Wow. Heather says, yeah, our lows are 40s at night, next week in the 60s daytime, but we could get a cold spell. Gwen says, Lordy, I need to get seeds started. Hey, Robert Nelson, good to see you. I'm not doing tomatoes or peppers this year. Our greenhouse panel is broken so it's not going to hold the heat. So we'll have to get out there to fix it when it's warmer. Right now is not the time to do it because it's not flexible. But I'm going to see if I can get a panel to slide in there and get a couple more years out of that greenhouse. But peppers I'm done with because it's a waste of my time. I just bought a case of poblanos because I'm not getting anything from peppers. Barb says I have a bunch of peppers seeds growing under a light. Awesome. But I got to start my leeks. I'm going to start my leeks because I usually go with what Annette and Glenn say because they are similar to us. And she said calving is right around the corner. The good weather has to last. It looks like it for us. So it's crazy. Spartman said I saw our runnings and Walmart have seeds for sale already. Cool. Start your leeks. I will start my leeks. I'm going to look at your post again when I start them. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to put in the greenhouse. I may do beans. I don't know. I don't know. But I've decided no chicks though. I ordered my chicks through Harvey's. I've got turkeys and I've got chickens, meat chickens, Dakota Whites, because we really like them. And then we have 2 pheasants in the back. And we're going to try hatching eggs this year. Or leeks onions. Yes, similar. Similar, Barb. Like potato leek soup. They're like really big green onions with amazing flavor. Hey, Annie, good, our frugal cozy home. No need for heating here at the moment. Heading for 37 degrees Celsius here today. Beans in the greenhouse. I may try it. I may try it. We will see. But growing real estate has to be stuff that thrives or I'm not wasting my time. So that's what I've decided. But yeah, George and Wheezy are the 2 birds that we will be hatching eggs from, hopefully. So we will see. They've been very easy to have over winter, I will say that. And then a friend of mine, before I forget, a friend of mine picked up a bunch of rabbits today for meat. And she picked one up for me. So I have a freshly butchered rabbit in the freezer now. And Ryan's going to cook it for me so I can eat it. And then we can decide if we're going to do rabbits. But it won't be this year. I don't think. I say that, but I don't know. We are just looking ahead to quail and rabbits when we get older because we figure that will be easier meat to butcher. Right now, I'm still on the rabbit decision-making train. So once I eat it, I'll be able to decide if I want to do it. I was saving up money for either feed or chicks, but the meth-addicted squirrel that lives in my brain thought I needed to get this. Look at I left my onions in the garden hoping they overwinter. Oh, I hope they do too. A friend of mine is going to give me Egyptian walking onions. So I'm going to try those this year is my deal. I do want to plant more leeks. I'm hoping the garlic does well. It's been a dry winter. Red says, which is Robert Nelson, he said, my chickens are going crazy in all of this cold weather. I bet. If you get rabbits, get some long arm gloves. They will rip you open clawing. I bet. I bet. Walk like an Egyptian. Red's getting a dozen eggs a day. That's awesome. That's awesome. We are on the fence about getting chickens, right? So our main flock, I want to let them run out their lives. And I want to switch to all dual purpose breeds. One that we would hatch to eat and the same breed that we would hatch for eggs. Because I don't want to keep buying chicks every year. That is my opinion. As you know, Mr. Yogi Hollow Farm is very particular. He likes the Cornish cross. He did like the Dakota White. So we're working towards it, but maybe I'd get a coop full of American breasts, something like that. So I'm trying to decide, do I really want to get chicks this year for the flock? I know I was mad last year because in November I didn't have any eggs, but reality of it is I am thinking I just want them to dwindle a bit and then, we're good. Ours started laying again like crazy. I see what you guys are all talking. So we've got under 30 now, and they're laying like crazy. They are laying and laying and laying. And so we've started selling eggs again because of it. Yes, we had some American breasts and we had 6 of them and we added them in with our laying flock. The only thing is we would need a rooster and we would need more of them. Red says, um, 21% layer feed and mealworms. Yeah, we use 21% layer feed when we have a lot of cold. And we do that. But we don't, otherwise we do 16%. I did not taste any because that was the year, Heather, that our well dried up and we had no running water. So I didn't want to butcher them. That's why they went back in the coop. Busy You says, I need to grow chives and garlic chives totally out in my herb. Oh, yeah. Chives are great. Annette says, Lordy, we have 9-year-old chickens. If you don't cull them, do you really want to have a group that hangs around? I'm okay with having them hang around as long as they're laying eggs. So I'm just trying to think, is this year that we're going to move towards that? I don't know. So yeah, so we didn't taste any, Heather, because we ended up not having running water to butcher them. So I'm going to see if we can get some more of them. And then if I can get a rooster, we will hatch them. But I didn't order them from Harvey's Homestead because I thought I would go to Baumgar's in Newcastle, Wyoming, because that's who had them the last time. And they were like $17 a piece. It was ridiculous. But if I get the first few, I can start. So that would be good. But the ones that we have now are, a lot of them are laying. Obviously not all. I think she means dry cat food, Spartman, because it's protein. Red says, I'm considering raising well summers this year, but I love my lavender Orpington. I will pick the lavender Orpington every time. I love them. I think they're a fun bird. I find them to be good egg layers, and they're not troublemakers. That's what I like about them. That's what I like about them. But yeah, we need to do some downsizing in the coop and make the coop work for us versus not work for us, like not just eggs, because I would love to hatch out every year. I'm not sure I want to try to explain to the missus why I'm feeding cat foods to the birds. She already thinks I've lost my marbles. You can feed them dog food too. It's the protein. One of the things that I do is I'll give them a carcass, like a chicken carcass. If I have a bunch in the freezer to make stock with, I'll give them a chicken carcass. They'll pick it clean. They love the protein. Sardines and water. And tuna, they love tuna too. All the protein is really helpful for them. But ours are back to laying a bunch. It's crazy. Any last questions, or do we cover everything? that I could think of anyway, because I thought it was a good idea to talk about this. So I'll give you guys just a minute if you want to throw that in there in the chat if you have any questions. I give her chickens everything. Yeah. That's cool. I only have a small rope light in there mostly so I don't trip in there. I have a bright light outside to keep owls away. Smart. Owls are pretty brutal. All right. Well, I don't see anything in the chat, so I'm going to get going, guys, because we're over an hour. But I really thank you guys for being here. Yogurt is really good for them, Barb. I really thank you guys for being here. And I am going to go make some kefir. I got the powdered starter started a day ago, 24 hours ago. So actually 26 hours ago. So I am going to go add some milk and make some kefir, but I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for being here and stay safe and warm. Take care.